The repeat button is used to sew a design multiple times. This button is typically used to sew things such as patches, where we're just taking a simple design and duplicating it several times. The way the repeat button works, we press the repeat button and it will ask us for 6 parameters. The first parameter it's looking for is the X repeat. The X repeat is how many times the design will repeat itself in the X direction. Remember, the X direction is from left to right as you're facing the embroidery machine. So let's say this particular example, I can fit 5 of these designs in the X direction. I type in 5 on the keypad and press the set button to lock in that value. Now the machine is asking for the Y repeat. The Y repeat is how many times the design will repeat itself in the Y direction. Remember, the Y direction is from front to back or top to bottom as we're standing in front of the embroidery machine. Let's say for this particular example, I can fit 4 of these designs in the vertical direction. Type in 4 on the numeric keypad and press the set button to lock in the values. Now the machine is looking for the X design interval. The X design interval is the distance from the center point of the first design to the center point of the second design in the X direction. X direction being from left to right as we're facing the embroidery machine. This distance is listed in millimeters. To figure out this distance, we would simply take the total width of the design plus whatever amount of space we wish to leave in between. Let's say for this particular example, it's 270 millimeters. So using the numeric keypad, we type in 270, then press the set button to lock in that value. Now the machine is looking for the Y design interval. The Y design interval is the distance from the center point of the first design to the center point of the second design in the Y direction. Y direction being from top to bottom or from front to back. To calculate this dimension, we would take the total height of the design plus whatever distance we wish to leave in between the designs in the Y direction. Let's say for this particular example, it's 100 millimeters. Using numeric keypad, we type in 100, press the set button to lock in the value. Now the machine is looking for the YX priority. Is it a priority for the machine to sew in the left-right direction first or top and bottom direction? If you're sewing on backing material, it's stable in both directions, so therefore this is not a very important function. For this particular example, I'm going to have it sew in the X direction first, so I would use a value of 1, which I press on the numeric keypad number 1, then press the set key to lock in that value. The last function it's looking for is the design interval. And the 2 options I have here are for the design to jump or stop. What jump would mean is that the design is going to sew, move over, sew the next design, upon finishing the next design, move over, sew the next design, upon finishing that design, move over, and it would continue to do so until all of the designs have finished sewing. If I have the machine set up to stop, it would sew one design, and then upon completing that one design, it would stop. I would then press the start key in order for it to start sewing the second design. The reason why you have this option is because it depends on what type of software you have as to whether you can set up the design ahead of time. For instance, if we're sewing on patches, if you have digitizing software, you can lay out exactly where each patch should be on the fabric as we sew them. If we do not have digitizing software, we would not know exactly where to place each patch down, so therefore we would want the machine to stop in between sewing each design. For this particular example, I'm going to have the machine jump in between, so I would type in 0 on my numeric keypad, then press the set key. The machine now calculates where all the designs are going to lay out, recalculates the stitch count, and I am now ready to sew this design in the repeat function.